Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I am back for another channel update and topic video. So, before I get started, if you do hear anything lightly in the background, maybe a little bit of birds chirping, nature sounds, no, you're not hearing that out throughout my window, but I do have a game with some ambient noises in the background running. Just because I haven't figured out a way around, as I talked about in one of my previous videos, I love this new headset that I have, but it seems like if I'm just using the microphone and nothing is actually coming through the headset audio wise, sometimes when I'm recording a video like this, it likes to turn itself off. So we're just going to have some ambient noise really, really low, something that you'll probably barely even, if not even at all, notice. And hopefully that'll prevent my headset from turning off. So there you go. But anyway, before I get into the topics I wanted to cover today, again, I just want to give people a quick channel update and thank you to everybody who has been supporting the channel, supporting my work, whether it's been a few minutes, a few years, whatever. Very much appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I unlock videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Sometimes more frequently if there are like special events, maybe some holidays, or something really cool happens in the area of accessibility, or maybe there's a big tech conference or something, or just, just because. Um, but Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday are my regular unlock video days. And I cover everything from mainstream games that I play with my remaining vision as a low vision player. I cover games, PC, console, mobile that are totally blind playable as well. Hardware reviews. I have a playlist for some interviews, podcasts, and presentations, those kind of different appearances that I've done over the years. I've got some nerdy stuff videos, just things I've kind of collected over the years. I've got VR accessibility, game accessibility videos, assistive technology, a couple Let's Plays here and there. Like I said, a lot of different stuff. So check out the playlist section. Hopefully you'll find something there that you will like. As far as like recent and upcoming videos, there's still a load of stuff that I want to cover. A couple recent videos that I've done here. Did a demo. We covered the recent GoldenEye release on the Xbox. Apparently the Nintendo Switch one is kind of a mess, especially with its weird control scheme, is the main problem. But we've got a couple of iOS games that I've covered recently. Lost Vault being a really deep one if people are looking for a more of a deep mobile experience. And actually, just after literally about a week after I released that video, the developer did a major interface update to it. Happened a couple days ago as I'm recording this, and it's, it's largely the same. There are some things I really like better because he's made some of the tiny buttons a lot bigger, more touch friendly. And things are largely in the same or a similar order. But he has moved some of the more hidden stuff. Again, maybe a couple of the things that I talked about were like, oh, you remember that thing right in the lower right corner above your bottom row of items? A lot of those types of buttons now are more prominently featured near the top of the screen. So there are some differences. Unfortunately, he did not seem to fix the issue where like you have to flick everywhere. All of the pop-ups and battle screens, you still have to flick dozens of times. You can't just explore by touch, which I really was hoping that he would be able to fix that. But yeah, I've got lots more mobile games. I've got several more mobile games that I've recorded. Looking forward to some PC and Xbox stuff coming out. I mean, we're just Usually you think that the fall is the time for big releases, but man, this winter and spring is just killing it. We've already had Dead Space this year. We've had a surprise game that came out of nowhere. Hi-Fi Rush is and I've played it more since I've recorded the video, and it's a really, really cool game. I'm not as much of a fan of the platforming sections, but the battle and the rhythm and just the overall, like, the look of the game and this, the voice acting and everything, it's a really, really solid game, and it came out of nowhere. It's available on PC and Xbox Game Pass. Um, so very cool early game of the year, or game early year surprise. So yeah, um, and there's a lot of games coming out within the next couple of months that I definitely want to cover. And now I have the PC gaming rig to do it. So I will probably do a quick hardware review to show you, show you the case, show you the, um, basically talk about what I have in another video, just for people who are curious. I do want to do a hardware review for this Turtle Beach headset that I got, because the more I use it, except for that one weird little thing where it turns off that I talked about a bit ago, I love this headset. It's blowing that Razer one that I recently got last year out of the water. Sound quality wise, just I love this headset so far. It's great. So that's a channel update. Lots to look forward to there. Um, Not sure what I'm going to do with Twitch. I'm still kind of taking a hiatus on that. I want to keep going with my videos. There's so many other things I want to do that I just don't know when I'm going to be coming back to Twitch regularly. Um, so a couple things I want to talk about specifically for this video. I want to talk about let's say I'll do the controversial one first. The big release this week being the Hogwarts Legacy game. I'm going to cover that first. And then I want to give my thoughts on the recent today's Nintendo Direct, which actually had some pretty cool stuff in it. So those are the main two things I want to quickly talk about. And let's get the controversial one out of the way first, because there's been a lot of hubbub around that over the last several weeks especially. But the last couple, even my Twitter feed is just, it's getting old. I mean, not even just the Hogwarts Legacy stuff, but just the whole, like, discourse. Like, as I said on Twitter last night when I gave some initial really quick text impressions on Twitter, it's totally fine to disagree on something. It's natural that we disagree on it. Not everyone's going to agree on everything. We shouldn't agree on everything. But you can be civil about it. Like, just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean the other person is the devil and they're evil and you got to demonize them and you got to, like, oh, if you don't think the way I do, so you're a piece of crap and you're, blah, 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 all this stuff. I'm so sick of it. So the Hogwarts Legacy game, I do want to just give a few thoughts on accessibility, and I'm going to try to have a video for it out depending on when I get a chance to play it a little bit more, because I want to give it a little bit more time and try a few more things. I'm going to try to have a video out either Saturday or Monday. That is the hope. I will hope to have a video for Hogwarts Legacy and its accessibility within the next week, I'm hoping. Because I got it a little bit early because I bought the game. And I got it. I'm getting it a couple days early, but I have to play it before I can cover it. So, but before I get into the actual accessibility, like I said, I am covering this game. I know some people are mad. Like I said, there's a lot of rage about people who are even talking. You can't talk about the game. You can't review the game. You can't cover the game. So for those who are not familiar, J.K. Rowling, I guess, has really been, she's been very outspoken against trans rights, and she's just being a real, dink about it. Um, And so a lot of people don't want to support any work that is going to, give her money, give her, more power. And I can totally respect that. Like I said before, she's already been getting paid through, like even for Warner Brothers to even make this game, um, to even use the license. I'm sure she got paid a boatload of money. But yeah, I'm sure she's probably going to get some residuals, maybe based on sales or something. And that wouldn't surprise me at all. Um, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, if you are not buying the game, you're not supporting the game or covering the game due to trans rights, I fully respect that, and that's fine. Um, and it's totally okay to voice that opinion, to say that that's why I'm not covering this. I don't support her. I don't want to support any of her properties or whatever. That's fine. Um, I am covering the game because I think it's also important for the people who do still want to play it. The developers have done a really good job overall so far with accessibility features. Could it be better? Yes, it absolutely could. Um, so I will say right up front, I would not consider this game to be playable for someone who has no usable vision. So someone who, um, yeah, somebody who has no usable vision is not going to be able to play this game independently. Um, and it's sad because it's so close. As I talked about on another Twitter conversation this morning, um, there was a review that, like, oh, there's no in-world navigation. Well, there actually is, but the problem with it is that you don't get that right away. So in the beginning of the game, you have this little prologue before you get to the school, and you play through this other section of the game that's basically your tutorial. And in that, you're just kind of wandering around some caves and some other areas. But when you get to school, you're given this big old book, because the whole spiel is that you're the student who comes in and you're transferring to Hogwarts after, you're going to be in your fifth year. So you're not coming in as a first year, you're transferring in. So to make up for lost time, they're giving you this book that'll really kind of help you track your progress and give you extra assignments and basically helping you catch up. But as part of this magical book, you get this ability where you can, when you track your quests, that's your in-world explanation for, you get this magical trail that will visually guide you. When you hit a button, you'll get a little book thingy that'll just whoosh, and it'll draw this sort of magical line towards your next objective. But you don't get that at the very beginning of the game. So if the developers would at least enable that as an accessibility feature, to say, we're going to cheat a little bit and we're going to give you this navigation feature before you're technically supposed to have it in the game, then it could work. The other aspect of this navigation system that they need to add, and I don't think it would take much to do, is when you hit the button, it draws the line, but it doesn't turn your camera to automatically face where that line is going. And there doesn't seem to be any option in the game to enable that. I forget if it was God of War or there was another game that had the option where you could have it automatically point you in the direction of the navigation assist, or you could have it not do that. So even having that as an option would be good. Because if you're totally blind, you need to be pointed in that direction of where that visual line is going. Now there is kind of like an audio chime or like shimmer, you kind of hear it. You can kind of center it that way, but it's not that reliable, and it doesn't last for a long time, so it's really difficult to do. Um, so yeah, if they would just really make it so you could automatically orient the camera and have that navigation assist from the beginning, I would say that a large part of this game could possibly be blind accessible. There would have to be some other indicators for a couple other elements, but I'm not going to dive too deeply into that. You'll have to wait for my other video. Um, but there is text to speech in it. I'm playing the PC version, and it's quite good. Um, they do make a mistake in the beginning. You know, when you're creating your character, it'll tell you like, you know, oh, head, or, you know, facial features, body, voice, whatever. And it'll read those, but it won't read the, like when you're choosing your face or choosing what hairstyle you want or whatever. It doesn't read those individual things, which is a real bummer. The other thing that it doesn't do, well, it uses a pointer, like a cursor. Like when I'm moving my mouse around the screen here, you're moving a little circle crosshair around the screen. So there's no snap movement like with the analog stick or D-pad from menus. So that's another thing that they would need to fix. So there are some issues, but given how much is there, I think it could be made blind playable. And like I said, I don't think it would take all that much in theory to do. It is kind of annoying that, like I said, it's so close. There's even like when they do tutorial messages, most of those read like, oh, it'll say, oh, to do this, press this, or watch the, you know, the meter or whatever. When it tells you a new mechanic, those text boxes read aloud to you. So yeah, there could be definitely some improvements, but it's not a bad first effort by this development team. They did a pretty good start to accessibility. Um, but like I said, I am covering this game because I want to be, you know, I've developed a reasonable size audience in the blind low vision community, and you know, people ask for my opinions on certain games, and this is a popular one. I know a lot of people who uh, grew up with Harry Potter. You know, they're young. I didn't read Harry Potter until I was in college because I'm old. But you know, a lot of people grew up with Harry Potter, and it's a universe they want to play in. So they want to say, oh, well, hey, am I able to even play this game? So I want to cover it from that point of view. So yes, I'm going to play it. Yes, I'm going to cover it. Um, to try to still help people. Um, if you want to play the game, you know, you can still play the game and still support trans rights, support trans people. Like you can donate to charities. You can, if you see other people bullying someone who is trans or LGBTQ or whatever, you want to, you know, support that. Call them out. Call other people out on their BS. Like I said, donate to charities, help, maybe volunteer at a local event or something. There are ways that you can still support them, and that way you're actually more directly helping the trans community directly. That's a good way to do it. Those are good ways to do it. And, you know, like I said, if you are trans or if you are supporting the trans and not wanting to support the game, I totally respect that. But I think it also goes to the point to say, like I said, we can disagree, but we don't have to frickin' demonize everybody else who has the other opinion from us. Because, like, if you jump down people's throats, you're just going to make them annoyed at you, and they're totally not going to listen to you. That's why when I say, you know, when I tell people, like, oh, you want to make games more accessible, don't just email a developer and rip into them, say your game sucks, I hate it, it's not accessible, you know, you're terrible. How is that going to accomplish anything? It's not. So, you know, if you're, you know, sure, voice your opinion, you can say that I'm not supporting this for these reasons, but because I'm not the, you know, I'm not evil, I'm not the devil. You know, I'm still trying to support people, I'm still trying to help people. I donate to charities from time to time. Heck, I donate to NVDA. At least $100 I have for the last several years. So yeah, you just kind of pick your pick what you want to do. And like I said, you want to support trans, go for it. But like I said, you don't have to, um, because like I said, you're kind of giving that community a bad name, just like a disability. We're giving people a bad name if we just go around suing everybody and claiming we're entitled to this, that, and the other thing. And if we're just rude about everything, no one's going to take disabled people seriously. And the same goes for any community, you know? And that's all I'm going to say. That's where I'm going to end it. But, so yeah, I do expect to have a video of Hogwarts Legacy out hopefully within the next week or so. Hopefully Saturday or Monday, but we'll see. But as a low vision user, I would say it is so far pretty low vision friendly. And I know there's another thing that I forgot to mention. I haven't found them yet, but apparently there is a blind character in the game, and I know someone who helped consult on that. And the other sort of controversy regarding this game is that, oh, that's great. We're consulting, or they did consulting to make sure they had a well represented blind character, yet blind people can't play the game. Yes, I totally agree that is frustrating. That is very frustrating. I get it. But I'm glad they at least reached out to try. Like I said, they tried to put as many accessibility features. Maybe the other features that they didn't have time, or they just couldn't get the resources, or maybe they didn't learn how some of these accessibility features worked until they were well into development of the game. Remember, The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020. As big as this game is, they've probably been working on this thing for a couple of years before that. So maybe they were well into their engine, and they still, they just couldn't get the last few features to maybe get some navigation assist or to get some feature that a blind player would need. And again, I will talk about more about what is needed, and I think what could be fairly easily implemented to support blind players more. But like I said, I get it. It's totally frustrating. I mean, there's been a lot of games. I mean, anything from there's been a lot of games that have had like echo perception. Oh, you're a blind character and you play through echo perception. Perception is one of them. There was there was a really bad game that I covered on the channel ages ago, and I think it was called. Oh no, I just lost the name of it. I had it in my head a second ago. Beyond Eyes. I love the idea behind it, but boy, did they not. They did not clearly consult with blind people. That is a bad perception of a blind character. I did 2 videos on that game. Just go look up, go find Beyond Eyes on my channel. It was an Xbox 360, no, Xbox 360 or Xbox One game, I forget. Neat idea, but wow, did they miss on that one in a lot of ways. But there is still, like I said, yes, it's very frustrating that a totally blind person can't play a game that has a blind character in it. I get that. I totally respect that, and I agree with you. But even, like I said, let's say that even if sighted players play and they see a blind character, if it's represented well, maybe outside of the game, that will help their perception of blind people. Look at how people always say right now, well, I can't get a job because businesses just don't they don't want to hire blind people, or people assume I can't do anything because I have a disability. If they see competent, positive roles in movies, games, TV shows, whatever, at least maybe there can be at least still some good that can come of that, and they can say, oh, well, hey, this person, they're doing this, and they're in school, or they're doing a job, or I don't know if this is a student or if it's a adult. I don't know what this character is. But at least that's a silver lining you could take from that. So, yeah, there's been a couple controversies about it, but if you are a Harry Potter fan, if you have read the books or the movies, a lot of the lore and everything. From what I've played hour or two of it so far, and it is. I gotta say it's really cool. Like I'm not a super fan, but I've read the books a few times over the years, and knowing a lot of the spells and the terminology and even some of the characters, I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Um, it seems to respect that really well, and it's really cool to walk around Hogwarts and like, oh, I haven't gotten to the room of requirement yet, but I want to see that. I want to see. I was walking around Hogsmeade Village, and I went to Zonko's. Um, I went to Honeydukes. I went to the Three Broomsticks, or oh, what's the other bar? Um, I just went blank, but I went to the other bar, where they make the dueling club in the fifth year. So it's neat to see all those things. And again, I get it. That's the frustrating thing is like if you're blind and you want to be able to experience those, I totally get that frustration. And that's why I'm going to try, especially if I can get a hold of somebody and if other people can just, constructively let Warner Brothers and the development team know that, hey, you're really close, great work, but these are a couple things that you could do. Could this be patched into a future update? Other games have done it, so I, have obviously have patched things, accessibility features in. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I know I blabbed a bit more about that than I intended, but that's per usual, right? The other thing I want to cover mainly is the Nintendo Direct. We already had an event this month, surprise Nintendo Direct, and it was mixed for me. There were a lot of Japanese RPGs, which I don't really care for, but I know a lot of people love. They started with a nice little gameplay demo for Pikmin 4. And, I love the idea of Pikmin, but I was never good at it. And some of it was a little bit harder to see some of that stuff. So it looked really neat for what it was. And I think I would enjoy watching it, but I don't know if I'm going to really pick it up. But Pikmin 4, that is coming out in, I want to say like May. I don't remember the exact release dates for all these, but it's coming out in the first half of this year. But we have more Fire Emblem content coming out. We have more Xenoblade Chronicles coming out. More. They're basically these seasons that everybody's releasing now. They're doing that too. A new Samba de Amigo game. Any Dreamcast fans around here? I never played the game because I looked at the screenshots and the movies of it, and everything was so bright and colorful, but like the notes and everything did not stand out from the background, and it was such a vibrant, busy looking game that it was really tough for me to see, and there's not an easy way that I was going to be able to play that unless they really had the ability to dim the background in this new one. But you're using your Joy-Cons as maracas. So I know a lot of people are going to be happy about some Samba de Amigo. Oh yes, Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. That is coming out in like March, I think. It's really soon. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be, I'm hoping they're going to release that simultaneously on everything because I have Dead Cells for PC. But that is also coming to the Switch. Very much curious to see what that's going to be like. That one I do definitely want to play. More Dead Cells, and especially since they've added some of those accessibility features, being able to dim the background and a few other things I covered a while back. If the Castlevania also has that, that will be nice. Tron Identity. I don't know what this is. It's something in the Tron universe. They really didn't spend a lot of time on it. There really didn't seem to be any gameplay. It's story. I think it's some sort of like adventure-y type of game, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh yes, Bayonetta Origins. We knew about this from the Game Awards. They're doing a prequel when Bayonetta was younger. It definitely has a different art style. It has different gameplay because you're playing as Bayonetta, but it's like you play as two characters at a time. There's like Bayonetta and some demon thing or something that is with you, and you're using each other's powers together to go through it. And it's really, like I said, it's got this a way different art style, which is kind of neat. Um, but I'm so far behind on the Bayonetta franchise that I'm not even going to worry about this one because I've played a bit of one. I own two. I have three on my wish list. And yeah, I need to even get further in that series before I even think about this one. Splatoon 3, we're getting more content for that. There's like a season pass, kind of like how Mario Kart did. So they're basically breaking up into two packs that you're going to get if you subscribe to this season pass. So more content, some old levels from the first game, some other modes and stuff. So yeah, more Splatoon content for you there. Illusion Island. This came out of nowhere for me. And it's like Disney Illusion Island. You know, it's all the Disney characters. You're Mickey, Donald, Goofy, I think, and you can swap between them and use each one of their abilities, or you can play up to 4-player co-op, and it's a 2D platformer. And like I said, I'm not super into Mickey Mouse. I like Donald, but I was never a Mickey Mouse fan really that much. But I do admit, like a lot of the remember around the 8 and 16 big days, like Mickey Mouse capades and what was the other one? There were a couple on the Genesis that were really quite good. I mean, Disney had some killer games back in the day, and like a lot of the Mickey ones were actually quite solid. Um, I noticed that they showed some gameplay, and it looked kind of fun, but the camera was zoomed out quite a bit. Now, I don't know if that was because they were showing a lot of multiplayer, and if you're playing solo, if maybe that zooms in a little bit more. Especially if you were playing it on the handheld if you're playing it on the Switch in handheld form. Um, I don't know if that would work as well, if that would be easy enough to see. But I am casually just sort of curious. I'm gonna wait and see what reviews are like, and it would be a game that I would see myself picking up on sale. I don't know if it's only coming to Switch or if it's also going to be coming to other platforms eventually, maybe PC eventually. But yeah, so kind of a surprise Disney game there for you. We Love Katamari is also coming out. They remastered that. That is going to be coming to the Switch. It's got like some new King of the Cosmos modes, or you play a younger version of him, but then there's, like I said, the original game. And that would be really fun to play. I get a kick out of a little bit of Katamari. It's weird and it's got some catchy music and all that kind of stuff. Sea of Stars, I don't remember what this game was. I think it was like an adventure style game. Um, I don't remember too much about it. I just wrote down the title. Omega Strikers. This was kind of like a air hockey type of deal where you have multiple people on your team, and it looks really arcadey. There's power ups, and you can boot people. You can smash people out of the actual ring and everything. It looked kind of neat. I don't know if I'd be very good at it, but it actually looked kind of fun. Could be a fun little arcade multiplayer title for you. E-Train Odyssey. They're doing like a remaster of some older games in that. That is coming out this year. Again, it seems to be like a card battler RPG, if I recall correctly. Again, like I said, there's a lot of this is the Switch is a great platform if you're into Japanese role-playing games, especially turn-based role-playing games. There's tons of those on here, so that is definitely a good platform for that. But yeah, that one really didn't catch my attention all that much, but it is there. Advance Wars. This is that 1 and 2 remaster that was supposed to come out last year, but then with the war happening and everything, they kind of postponed the release for an indefinite amount of time, and that is coming out in April. So that is coming pretty soonish. You'll be getting some Advance Wars. If you've been looking forward to that, you can get that again. Kirby Return to Dreamland. They covered basically if you beat the story mode, there's some other new character that you get to play as, and you get to play through kind of an epilogue of different levels and stuff. So there's some new content that wasn't in the original, apparently. And again, that's one that looks really neat, but I'm just sort of wondering, again, the foreground and background colors. If you get these really busy backgrounds, some of the, like even the new Super Mario Brothers games, I liked them, but some of the levels were really kind of tough to see because they had so much bright stuff in the background, and they didn't, especially like the daytime levels, they just were a little bit harder for me to see. So we'll see. I might pick that up. We'll see. I'm going to wait till reviews or see some more game footage before I kind of decide on that one. But yeah, Kirby looks promising. I mean, it looks fun. Then we get to what I think they should have announced ages ago, but you know what? Hey, better late than never, and they finally are getting around to it. If you are a Nintendo Online subscriber, a Switch Online subscriber, as of today, which after I record this video and upload it, I am going to be sitting down and I am going to be downloading some Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games to my Switch. Because yes, apparently as of today, we are getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games on our Switch, and they're both coming out today. Now, of course, they're only going to be having a few titles to start out with at first, but they're both. They did show which ones are coming out first, and I don't remember all of them. But I know, like on the Game Boy side, we're getting Tetris, we're getting Super Mario Brothers, or the Super Mario Land 2, which is the better game. But I was kind of hoping they would have the original Super Mario Land, just because I have so many fond memories playing that, and it also has some really, really catchy music. So hopefully they bring that one out eventually. But Super Mario Land 2, they had the Zelda DX version, and you can switch between like Game Boy Pocket, or Game Boy Color, like color modes for the Game Boy games. Metroid 2, which I definitely would like to play some more of that again. That was a fun one. There were a few other ones that I can't remember. Oh, the original Kirby Dream Land. That one's coming. Gargoyles something, I forget, like Gargoyles Quest or something. I never played it, but Gargoyles something, I know that was one of them. And a couple more. Game Boy Advance, there was some really good ones there. They got Super Mario Brothers 3, I believe, the version of it there, the remade version. But we have the Zelda, the Minish Cap, which is, yes, absolutely. WarioWare, the original WarioWare game. Oh yeah, looking forward to that one. Oh, what else did they have? They had like literally, Kururin. I was shocked at that one, because that's that game what I told you about, where you were like moving the stick around. That is such a weird one that I would have never thought that would have made the first launch, because I think it was only released in Japan and maybe Europe, but I don't know if there was an English translation of that. But you're moving this stick around these mazes, and it was really addictive. I remember playing the ROM when I downloaded it, in college, and I bought the games. I own the original Game Boy Advance games of them, but they're Japanese. Yeah, there were just a lot of surprises on it. There's some solid Game Boy Advance stuff there. So, can't remember them all, but there were some really good ones there. Minish Cap, I'm definitely going to play. WarioWare, I'm definitely going to play. Kururin, going to play that one for sure. Yeah, and we'll get more. So that's good. So yeah, surprise Game Boy stuff. And then, the long rumored, believe it or not, no news on Metroid Prime 4 yet, but again, they shadow dropped today we can pick up the digital version of Metroid Prime. They remastered Metroid Prime, the original that came out on the GameCube, and they're having like a traditional aiming mode that you can play, or they have a dual analog, like a traditional dual analog stick aiming mode. Again, bumped up graphics and everything. So yeah, really kind of surprising. And like I said, not only did they announce it, they said, yeah, okay, guess what? It's out today. So they are going to have a physical version if you want to buy it in the store in a couple weeks. So you will be able to get a physical copy of that if you want to. But I might just pick that up digitally. That'll look really nice on my OLED, I bet. And then, let's see. Monster Detective, I think is, or no, Master Detective Archives. I don't remember what this one. It seemed kind of like an adventure style game. Like you're obviously you're solving crimes or something, but I don't remember a whole lot about that one. Baten Kaitos. There's Baten Kaitos 1 and 2. They're remastering it. It's coming out later this year. These were another RPG series on the GameCube. I remember hearing about it back in the day, but again, it's just I'm not usually into those types of games. It's kind of got this real-time battle system, but it's like it's a card battler. You use cards to do your attacks or something. I know some people are going to be really excited about that. Like I said, I know the name, but that's really about all as familiar of it as I am. So yeah, Baten Kaitos 1 and 2, they're coming out, so we're bringing some GameCube stuff back. Fantasy Life, I guess this is a series that I know nothing about, but the version that they showed, it looked kind of like an Animal Crossing game. It sort of had that style. But it seemed like there might be a little bit more to it. It was more focused on like doing things. So you could be, a hunter or a fisher, or you could, a lumberjack or a blacksmith. It looked like there was some sort of like combat in the game. So you're fighting some sort of creatures. And it does have that sort of, like I said, a really cartoony, kind of Animal Crossing-esque vibe to it. I will definitely have to learn more about it before I decide whether I'm going to pick it up or not. And I should also mention, I don't remember all which specific ones are going to, but check the eShop if you're interested in any of these games, because a lot of them you can pre-order today, and also a lot of them are going to be having demos that you can play either right now or very soon. So yeah, Nintendo's going to be offering a lot of demos on the eShop for a lot of the games I've been talking about here. We get the next section of our Mario Kart season pass type of thing. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you guys. I mean, this game is ridiculous. There is so much content in here. This is like the fourth, I think, like the fourth wave of content. Remember last year they announced like there's like a pack of 4 or 5 different sets of tracks and stuff. But we're getting more tracks. They're adding Birdo as a character. I mean, there's literally going to be, when all is said and done, I think there's going to be, 96 courses, whole bunch of characters. I mean, this is the closest thing to like like I said, it's a deluxe game. I mean, there's the Mario Kart tracks galore from pretty much every game. Mario Kart 64, Double Dash, Mario, just any of them. The portable ones, there's tracks from there, and there's tracks from them in there. Yeah, this is a good Mario Kart game, and it's well worth the admission. And then, of course, they wrapped up with another Zelda Tears of the Kingdom trailer, which they didn't show a ton of gameplay, but there was, a little bit of cutscene, a little bit of gameplay, and it looked solid. Like I said, I love the art style. The main thing that I want to know, because I really didn't like. There was a lot of things I liked about Breath of the Wild, but I just did not like a lot of the weapon breaking and like all the you always had to do the crafting or cooking or the cooking system. I never really got into all that, and so I never got super far into the game. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of weapon degradation is fine, but like I said, I would call them toothpicks because you'd literally hit something 3, 4 times and your weapon is dead. It's broken. Wasn't a big fan of that, so I'm curious to see how the next one's going to go. The other thing that I'm curious about with Zelda, as good as it looks, again, the Switch came out in 2017. It's 2023 now, and there's been a few even first-party games that have released fairly recently that have people have said, yeah, the Switch hardware's getting a little long in the tooth. It's getting a little bit old. Frame rates, things are not running as well as they should. So I'm curious to see what the performance is going to be like for the new Zelda. I'm sure it'll be okay. But again, you got to wonder though, man, if you had something even with like the specs of the Steam Deck, man, and an OLED screen, God, all these games would look so good. So that is what Nintendo had. I would say, like I said, if you're really into Japanese RPGs, there's a lot you're going to like there. Those really didn't do much for me. I was most excited for, like I said, the Castlevania Dead Cells thing was really cool. A couple other titles here and there, like the Metroid Prime remaster. That's cool. That's out now. I was most excited, believe it or not, about the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff because those are just some games that I really love playing. And yes, I just did get my analog pocket, but just having everything in one place where I don't now also have to carry the cartridges around and I can play it on a nice shiny OLED screen. Sure, yeah, I'm all for it. More Mario Kart content, more Zelda. I would say it's a pretty decent showing. There's of course a few games we didn't hear anything about, Metroid Prime 4 or a couple of other games. I really see now everyone's been rumoring this Metroid Prime thing, this remaster for years. Other people have always been talking about, well, they should also do a Wind Waker remaster for the Switch. They already had it for the Wii U. It's already been made HD. So I'm hoping maybe later this year, I would love for them to drop, even if it was like you could literally have the same one, just fix the controls for the Joy-Cons or for your Pro controller for the Switch. Even release the HD version from the Wii U of Zelda Wind Waker. I would love that because man, the cartoon art style with that, the sharpness, the way that game looked, that would look phenomenal on that OLED screen. So we've got the Metroid Prime one out of the way. Let's do Zelda next. And on that note, I've been blabbing again for quite a while. We will wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.